This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Nate.
Nathan Morris back after a couple of days.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not
So
fun.
you got hit
You're
over the
you're a bit
weekend?
crook, yeah.
Yeah. It sort of it hit me on Saturday, and during that day I had a very busy day, right? So like I had so much stuff doing because at the moment I'm going through a real cleanse at home, a really cathartic experience of organising everything in my
It's
house.
not even spring.
Nat, it's just such a, and I'm finally at the end, and it's just the best thing I've ever
Time
done.
to mess it up again.
I just really hope that doesn't happen. But during that process, I realised how many pots for pot plants that have died over the years.
Yeah,
that
you
I
are
just have their
killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just have the plants ready, the pots ready to go, and I'm like, stuff it. I'm going to go to Bunnings and I'm going to get some plants.
Get some more things to kill.
Yeah. So
You don't really kill them. You
I
just
don't-
let
they
them die.
die slowly.
It's on them.
I'm also torture them until their lives end.
Until they just give up.
One of them's right near the sink, like I probably know,
Yeah.
like
I
40
know.
centimetres away from the sink, and I can see it's going, give me some more water.
I have
and
one
so
in the
rude.
bathroom, and I think about that all the time as it looks down on the bathroom
Yeah.
basin, and I'm like, I could.
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
rude.
when I
don't.
talk about
That's
getting
so rude.
plants, I bought 17, right? So then, shut up, Harry. That was my night. I said,
Mass murderer?
I thought I'm going to murder a lot of greenery. So I went there, and then I bought the plants, and then I went to Mum and Dad's house. Now, while I was at Bunnings, I was starting to feel a certain way, but I didn't really register. I thought I was just tired. Same at Mum and Dad's house. It hit me later on that night, hours later, sort of early in the morning. And what I'd been
sore
doing.
throat. What were the symptoms?
Oh, no, it was very achy all over.
Yeah.
Sore throat. I've been coughing up a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Headache.
Yeah, okay.
A massive headache.
Yeah.
I felt different.
Yep.
And I was like, this is a lot, and my body was getting consumed by it. Yeah, this was live from my house. That's the plants, actually.
Screaming help.
There's been 2 days. I reckon they're just all home throwing themselves off the benches, just like, kill me now. I'm going to get those like a mass murder. Anyway, so now. Just some backstory here, right? Our boss, Dave, his mother got very,
few years
very,
ago.
very sick. Like very sick all of a sudden, and we nearly lost her. And it
Yes.
was the most traumatic thing that I've ever seen anyone that I know go through. Like he was saying his goodbyes. She recovered and she's amazing now.
It
and
was
we're so happy.
a miraculous recovery,
yeah.
considering that they did say like she's probably not going to last the weekend,
And
which is extraordinary.
get this, what she had was Legionnaire's disease.
And how did she get it?
She got it from doing gardening.
Potting mix,
And
yeah.
potting mix. So in my brain, that's always been a danger.
Yes.
And
And
so,
it is a danger,
It is a
especially when
danger.
you first open the bag, because
And
it's
also-
kind of sitting in there, and there's kind of a bit of a puff when you open
the
it.
puff.
Yes.
Like whenever you do an archaeological dig, Sean, and you open a mummy, the puff of stuff
And
comes out.
people don't
No,
think
no,
about
but I
die.
live this with Megan. She's
Yeah.
been to hospital twice over this, by
Yeah.
the way.
Okay.
Twice.
So I had put on 2 COVID masks. So I didn't
not
have
enough.
the proper one. So I put in 2, and I made sure that I was away from the bag and everything like that. So long story short, I had convinced myself that I was
Legionnaire's disease
going to
has got
die
you.
of Legionnaire's
I love that you thought Legionnaire's disease before COVID.
I know.
Just
It was
everywhere.
the fear I had with the potting mix of what Dave's mum was doing.
Yeah, sure.
Did you start Googling things and making sure that the
I
symptoms...
went down a bit of a rabbit
that
hole.
matched you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
And they
But then-
kind of do, because it is an upper
It is.
respiratory tract infection.
And that's
so,
what I
yeah.
got. It's all up
Lungs,
here.
yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. And then I was actually thinking, well, if I've got it, I've got it. Let's just see how it pans out.
Oh, you're just going to let it ride?
I'm just going to submit to the dragon and see how I pan out. Because then I thought as well, at least when, at least when they come around, Mum and Dad come around, people come around to my house afterwards, whether it's to clean it up or something like that, at least it's all organised.
Just to grab the
Yeah,
body.
just to redistribute the plants.
That's right.
Rather than just leaving with the pot plant
But
up
like
under
when
each
I
other.
woke up the next day, like because I was only sleeping in short spats as well because I couldn't really
Yes.
breathe properly or whatever. When I woke up the next day, I thought, okay, and then I realised, no, you went down a bit of a hole last night, and
Perhaps you don't have Legionnaire's disease. Perhaps you've just got a cold.
Yeah.
My dad, if you ring him and have a conversation about how you're feeling or what's sore or what you've done, he is Dr. Google all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he can panic a nation
Yes.
in a
Yes.
heartbeat.
yeah,
Yes.
you need to take a step back. But
You
it was
do.
only because I went in there with the fear
Yes,
of
the
potting mix and
was
what
the
happened
real
with
thing,
Dave's
mate.
mum.
Yeah.
Because Legionnaire's disease,
Yeah, it's not good.
some people walking around with it every day.
Suboptimal.
Yeah. So I want to talk to when people have gone down that
When you
that
convinced
rabbit
yourself
hole.
that you had something that it turns out you didn't have, but
yeah,
you've gone to the extreme
Yeah.
and gone, no, that's definitely what I've got.
Yeah, and maybe even you went to the doctor, they told you didn't, nah. No, I do. I have it, and it's I'm a goner.
It does remind me of when I got bitten by that spider, and I told everyone I was basically dying. Everyone get in the car.
You got all the kids in the car and took off for the hospital, and then
I rang Ken,
who's the doctor,
and he said, "All you need to do is take an antihistamine." So I thought, right, turn around. We're all out, kids. We're done.
Debbie's in Adelaide. Hi, Deb.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi,
How are you?
Debbie, firstly, thank God you're here with us, living.
Yeah, that's right, because obviously there was a bit of a health crisis. What did you convince yourself you had?
So in my early 20s, I'd suffered a stroke, and the symptoms I'd been experiencing not long after giving birth to my little son, 16-odd years ago, I was absolutely convinced I was headed down that track again.
Jeez, that would have been terrifying.
Yeah, I was totally convinced, absolutely. And so we went in, I got my mum to look after my son, and we were sitting there and we had a few tests, doing a few things. Randomly, one of them was a urine test.
Yeah.
I went, okay. Came back in, he sat us down and he said, look, well done, you're not having a stroke, but congratulations.
Why?
You're pregnant.
Oh, would you rather a stroke?
Yes. Having been in the situation where you've had both, that's extraordinary.
Wow.
That's full on.
Hey,
thanks, Deb.
Deb's
gone.
Oh,
she's
gone?
dropped out.
Okay,
Yep. That's okay. But great story, Debbie. Thank you. Abby, hello.
Hi.
Hi, Abby.
Okay, Abby, what did you convince yourself you had?
I convinced myself I had a brain tumour.
Oh, God, that's
Seems to be going
awful.
around.
Yes, what happened?
Well, I didn't actually. Well, I didn't have a brain tumour. What it was, I'd gone through a breakup, and every night before I was going to bed, I was actually having a glass of Baileys that the person who'd broken up with me had bought me.
Yes.
To sort of soften the blow. So I was going to work in the morning, and I'd go to my friend at work. Oh my God, I think I'm sick. I said I keep having these terrible headaches every morning. I can't even see straight.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I need to see a doctor. I said, Graham's broken up with me, and now I'm dying. And I said, I don't know what to do. I was in tears. And she said, are you sure? I said, yeah. She said, it could just be, like, she diagnosed me with PTSD, so she was as bad as me.
Yeah.
And then about a week later, I went to do you know what? The symptoms have gone. And I suddenly realised symptoms stopped when the Bailey's bottle ran out.
So you were having a hangover?
It was just a hangover.
Hangover. No wonder Graham left.
Yeah, exactly.
That Graham has said, I don't want to be with you anymore, but here's a bottle of Baileys.
Now rock yourself to sleep.
Every night.
It's not a tumour.
You off, you lush.
That's great.
Abby,
thank
you.
That
just
made me
brought
smile
a bit of,
so
that
much.
brought
My
a bit of
face
joy. Thank you. Carrie's in Joondalup. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Carrie. Did you convince yourself that you had something really wrong with you?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I'm 40, so about 5 years ago, I've never really suffered acne.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm doing my daily routine. I'm a bit OCD with my daily routine for my toners and my moisturisers, etc., etc. So the kids really take the piss out of me because obviously I'm, packing everything to go on holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's got to be in its place.
Yeah.
So I'm there doing my daily routine, and all of a sudden I start getting acne, like really bad, like blotchy.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, off to the doctor, after a week of this, and it's not going. I'm thinking, is it hormonal?
Oh, God.
Anyway, off to the doctors I go, and he's like, okay, you've got a serious acne problem. What are we going to do? So we need to stop you. You need to stop everything you're doing. Use this.
Yeah.
Gives me some tablets.
Oh.
I come home, explain to the kids, and they start pissing their pants laughing at me.
What?
Like, they've only gone and put chili in my moisturiser.
Oh, my God!
Carrie,
You have bred monsters. That's an outrage.
I'm convinced I'm having a midlife crisis and going through the whole
Skin's peeling off.
Oh, so they saw the opportunity. Look at all the stuff Mum does to her face.
Oh, my
Carrie.
God. I cannot believe that they had the evil foresight to do that to their mother.
Like, it's one thing to think to do it, but to actually do it
Can I
is
tell you,
unbelievable.
I love your children.
Thank you, Carrie.
That is funny.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Caitlin Bassett in the house.
Hey, Caitlin, as you know, it's a big day today because the kids are back at school. Term 3 begins, Natalie.
Yes, school zones.
Why did they go back yesterday? Like, what? Why did
Teacher
people not go
development
back on
day
Monday?
often.
Okay,
Yeah.
We should have that when we're on holidays. We're going to bring that up next time.
Well, often it happens to me because my flight's been cancelled somewhere.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Stay with it. Stay with it. Don't change.
That was a big thank you to the floods in Dubai last time.
Yeah. Go with it. So one of the things I was talking about with one of the parents at the footy on the weekend, the girls' footy, is that when there is the school holidays, the opportunity to have a sleepover at someone's house keeps coming up. It's almost a daily occurrence.
Yes.
And at my house, my daughter either sleeps at my niece's house, my brother's house, because my daughter and my niece are like, they're inseparable on the weekends in particular.
So cousins that are besties. That's cute.
So we come back from Bali. No, I've got to. I said to Sunny we might stay a couple more days in Bali just to see what her reaction. She's like, no way, I've got to sleep over at Lisa's house. So I'm going.
Her cousin's name's Lisa?
Elise, sorry.
Lisa, right.
Yeah, so she was... so they had many sleepovers. One of the things that me and Megan always talk about, you can guarantee after a sleepover, they've had no sleep at all. So they're absolutely ratty and they cry and they get upset and they don't talk
emotional.
to you and it's impossible to have a conversation with.
When I was a kid, when I had a birthday party, because we lived on a farm out of town, so we're 40 k's out of town. So I'd get maybe 12 friends to come to my party. But then Dad would drive home all the town kids because that was just one trip. So all the town kids would get driven home. So that was, for him, that was an hour to go in, drop them all off and come back again. And then all the farm kids would stay. So I might have, like in the lounge room, there'd just be the mattresses laid out on the floor. Maybe six kids.
Yeah.
And the number of times, like the lasting image of my dad for the rest of my life will just be him screaming, "Shut up, you lot!" Because it was like and we had to go to school the next day. It was like just,
I can hear my dad yelling that too.
Constant giggling. "Shut up, you lot! Go to sleep!"
Yeah, Caitlin, was it a thing with you?
There was one rule in our house. If you wanted to have a sleepover, because we had best mates, and my sister, she's older than me, my brother's younger, and they had kids in the same range. So it was like everyone wanted to sleep over at once, which was fine. But it wasn't allowed to be on a school night. That was the rules. And you had to give at least a day's notice. And I can guarantee you there would be begging, "Please, can she sleep over tonight?" "No, you didn't give me a day's notice."
And you didn't fill out the form in triplicate.
Pretty much. Like, there was a very set rule. You knew you weren't going to get a yes.
You never got to bypass that rule? It was upheld?
Yes. And it was generally only one night as well. You couldn't do multiple nights. So it wasn't like, hey, I sleep at your house tonight and then you sleep at mine tonight. It was only ever a single night.
When I was a kid, if we did just do a sleepover unrelated to a birthday party, they had to come for the whole weekend because so they would catch the bus home with me and then stay Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night and then go back to school on the Monday and vice versa if I was staying with friends in town because there was just no other way around it. Yeah.
The dad I was speaking to on the weekend, he said, "That's it. We've had enough of the sleepovers. Like we're
drawing
coming. We're drawing the line because he said he was speaking to his daughter, and she goes, "You don't understand, you know." And,
I mean, that's a common call at 14 anyway.
Yeah, she's got, she's emotional after not sleeping.
And she's just been eating sugar for the last...
absolutely. We are talking about sleepovers because it's been going on a bit at Sean's house and leaving teenage girls very emotional because they're not getting any sleep.
Yeah, in particular, it's rife these days. But everyone's gone back to school, so you've got to try to get them back into routine.
Yeah.
But some parents, which I spoke to on the weekend, decided, no, that's it. They've
drawn a line in the sand.
Yeah.
Stacey's in Kalgoorlie. Hi, Stace.
Going.
Good,
Stace.
What happened on a sleepover?
So my daughter, who's 15, had about 6 of her girlfriends sleep over for her birthday, and I thought I'd be that cool mum and play murder in the dark with them. And one of the girls jumped off the bench onto my toe and broke it. So my rule is no more murder in the dark.
Okay. No more murder in the dark.
Yeah, I love that. That was your fault as the mother.
Yes, of course. Very bad idea.
That game was a staple at my grandma's growing up.
Yeah. I mean,
that is spotlight.
Yeah, murder in the dark in Kalgoorlie probably sometimes gets a bit literal, does it? Can't be too careful. Thanks, Stace. Melinda's in Parmelia. Hello.
Hi, how you going?
Good, Melinda.
Good, Melinda. What happened at the sleepover?
So I had a birthday party growing up on a farm over east, and everyone decided that they'd bring tents, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is a bit weird, but anyway. So they wanted to have that whole, sleep under the stars experience because they're all townies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we all pitched our tents and everything out the back. Well, we had 100 mils of rain that night, and I know it just came out of nowhere because that's Victoria.
Yes.
And anyway, all the tents floated away because they got uprooted from all the rain and the mud and everything. And some of them ended up in our dam.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So everyone bailed inside, and my parents actually didn't wake up, so we all got inside, and we didn't realise how much mud we'd carried in with us. And anyway, so we got up in the morning, and literally every wall, every bit of carpet, every bit of furniture was just covered in mud. And my parents got up and just,
went wild.
They weren't too impressed. So Mum got all the cleaning products out. She got all the rubber gloves and the buckets and the mops and everything, and made everyone clean up the house.
You had a cleaning party for your birthday in the end. Wow.
The last sleepover
I was going to say that nobody would have wanted to go to your house after that. That's full on.
Oh, I love the sleep out and then everything goes haywire.
I know. That's a lot of rain too. That is a lot of rain. Thanks, Melinda. Stephanie's in West Swan. Hi, Steph.
Good morning, crew.
Hey,
Steph, what's your take on sleepovers?
As I was saying before, I come from a Greek background, so sleepovers were sort of quite a big no-no. To this day, I'm not 100% sure why, but my mum would always say, well,
it's
I
our
don't really
culture.
know. Yeah, she never really sort of explains, but she always used to say, well, you don't know what the beds are like, is there, going to have enough blankets, are you going to be warm enough or whatever.
A lot of concern.
And, what are you going to eat? Of course, the main sort of issue was like whether we'd be fed.
Yes.
We were allowed to have friends over, which, they'd be stunned as to how much food there was.
Yes.
But, it was just never, and even when I say my kids are going for a sleepover, my mum will be like, oh, they shouldn't be going. You should just have them at home. But, they just never really,
And they didn't explain it, but it was a cultural thing. Yeah.
I'd say so. I'm not sure whether, any of the other parents were like that. I don't remember my friends
was it
talking about
cultural or were they just blaming it on when they just didn't want you to go? And it's amazing, isn't it?
Maybe a little bit cultural, but, just the, concern that, well, no one's going to look after you better than we do.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I know. I have heard that there are some cultures, and I believe, I might get this wrong, but I believe it's some of the Scandinavian countries where if you were to go and stay at someone's house, they're not obliged to feed you.
What?
So they don't, I've heard stories of kids that were like, oh, we're having dinner now, just wait in the room.
No.
If someone's out there and they can confirm that with us, give us a call.
Yeah, that's right.
13 24 10.
If when you went to visit your German or Scandinavian friend's house,
yeah, Scandinavian, it says here on the Google.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. They don't feed you.
I mean, I get it. If you've got lots of kids coming around, you can't afford to feed everyone. It is expensive food these days. You don't want to have a party and 10 kids eat you out of house and home. But to think that they're going to sit in the corner.
Imagine like if they'd come to out on the farm, they don't have an option. There's nowhere else to go. So you're like, what do you pack 3 days food for them to go and stay at their friend's house?
It's fat camp for some kids. I'd send them over. Need to lose some weight, go have a sleepover.
That's right. with the Johanssons.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We were just talking about sleepovers before we hit the news, and we caught up with Stephanie, who told us that growing up in a Greek family, she wasn't allowed to go on sleepovers, but if kids came to her, they were very well fed. And I then threw out the theory that I'd read somewhere that in some countries they don't feed you if you're on a sleepover, and I believed it was the Scandinavian kids. And Seabass is horrified, obviously. Well, Katarina's given us a call. Hello, Katarina.
Oh, hi.
Have you got any insight into this, or am I just making it up?
No, it's true. So I'm from Sweden originally. I've obviously lived in Australia for a while, and every time I went to my friends for play dates or on the weekends or after school, every time they had lunch or dinner, I got to sit in the room and wait for them to finish eating, or I went home to my own house and had my own food.
So if you just waited in the room, would your mum pack snacks for you in your bag? No. So you just sit there?
Never. Yeah, just sit there. And sometimes, you can smell the food and you go, I'm so hungry.
Katarina, what was the thinking behind that? That it was an impost?
I don't know. I had this discussion with another Swedish friend the other day because I had completely forgot about that until somebody brought it up. And I don't know, it's not like we were poor and we didn't have food. It was just like maybe you were so organised that you just planned enough food for your your own family, and if there was sort of outsiders there just wasn't simply enough. I don't know. It's so bizarre.
Is it also, is part of it like you didn't want to, tread on the parents of the visiting child's toes by feeding them something that was inappropriate, perhaps? Maybe? Is it that?
No, not
Okay.
really.
I was just trying to find a reason.
No, I think people are just so organised, and you know what Swedish people are like, they're super organised. Maybe they've just bought enough food for, their own family.
Surely just buy a slightly bigger bag of meatballs, mate.
Surely there's meatballs in the freezer ready to go. Pop them in the air fryer, some Swedish fish, bang.
I remember my neighbour coming over. We used to go to school together, and I would sit at the table and have breakfast, and she would sit next to me.
Watching you eat. It's so awkward.
Katarina, I think Harry has got this information on Google.
What have you Googled, Has?
It's pretty much spot on what Katarina said just before. It's they don't buy an excessive amount of food. They don't plan to have an excessive amount of food in their culture. So they've just got enough for the family.
So not even a slice of bread for the visiting poor little starving kid in the bedroom?
I know. Or like the little kid is sitting at the table like drooling over your
you wouldn't make all the portions slightly smaller so they could eat something as well, like sharing is caring.
We haven't thought of that. We haven't thought of that. In 1,000 years of sleepovers.
Amazing culture.
That might be a good
incredible.
idea.
Thank you so much for your insights, Katarina.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Currently joining us, standing by in Studio 22.
Which is the first time we've ever known that any of our studios have numbers.
Julia Morris, Gold Logie nominee. Good morning.
Look, 75 years in the business, guys. Still happy to have a job.
I have to say, Cousin Julia, the
Yes,
Morrises are up and about over you and all of your success.
Well, do you know what? I think that for our family, certainly, when you and I got together and we shook those bladders and we did that Morris dancing back in the day.
We took a step forward for the Morris community.
A giant leap.
That's exactly right. That's why we are the two pinnacles of the family group.
You're doing the family very proud. It's amazing. Julia, you did say you've been in showbiz for 75 years, and then you've got your teammate, Robert Irwin, who's come in fresh off the boat, and he's
He's getting
been
nominated all over the place.
He's like,
amazing.
come on, mate.
Well, here's the thing. Robert's actually been on television since he was in the womb.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
literally when he was born, they went, okay, cut, we're going to have to do that again.
Pretty much. He did a magnificent landing. But no, getting to stand side by side through this experience, which can be odd.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you are put up to compete with others. You know, what makes you better, give us your best pitch, all that sort of stuff. So actually, to get side by side with a friend, and a friend who I love deeply and have done for a long, long time. Honestly, it's like having a bestie through this experience, and it's just made it so much more fun.
No, but you want to win.
Honestly, a lot of people that watch, like Robert and Bindi, they think that they, and I've said as well, they're very media trained, and because they've grown up on, I think
performing.
When the red light's not on and the camera's not on, is Robert still just, is that just Robert, or is he suddenly like swearing his box off and stuff?
No, that's me. I'm the only
I know.
I
You're
say
a
to him,
Morris.
self-appointed swearer for you.
Yes.
Here's the thing about those guys is that they have been in the public spotlight for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
their whole lives.
I mean, you could not be a normal human being and not have some tricky thoughts behind closed doors. But they have also lived through the experience where every single word they say that, even a slight sidestep from anything has a direct impact on their conservation message.
Yes.
So they have just learned over the years that the conservation message is what they're selling. They're not trying to sell, hey, I'm a great person, or stand by for, well, look how intelligent I am, or whatever. Like, I try and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah, you're not trying very hard.
That's it. Absolutely. Well, I'm still surviving in an industry that is notoriously disposable of women. So I'm hanging in there.
Bloody well.
But, should you be lucky enough to know the Irwins as well as I do, it's a tremendous, tremendous and deep pleasure.
Hey, Julia, this year when you did I'm a Celeb for the first time with a new partner, was it weird trying to get the continuity going to kick off things?
Well, Robert and I had months and months and months of publicity leading up to the show's start.
Yes.
Plus, we already had an existing friendship. So, actually, the transition was incredibly smooth because I got to stand alongside somebody who, knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like I had been. That was the one thing, losing my beloved doctor to another network.
What a betrayal, by the way.
Oh, burnt. I mean, you want to talk swear words?
Yes.
I was just like, oh yeah. I won't use the big one, but at the time I had to, stay off the internet. I had to stay off radio. I had to stay off everything.
Does the big one start with C or?
Oh, look,
Chris Brown.
I mean, it always starts with a C. Let's face it. But yeah, luckily. And also, I auditioned with a lot of really fantastic people.
Yeah. There would have been a lot of people putting their hand up for that job, I know.
Definitely.
Hey, are you allowed to give us some of the names that didn't make it, or are we going to keep that down the down line?
I mean, I wouldn't disrespect.
Yes.
Anybody who auditioned.
You wouldn't disrespect Lawrence Mooney that way.
The El Mooney, the Moon Man. It was just me and the Moon Man.
He would have put up his hand, surely.
He would have loved it. No, I mean, as I say, there were many people who could have taken the job, so you had to be an extraordinary standout to stand above some of the best presenters in the country.
Yeah.
And there was no competition, honestly. Robert walked in and I was just like, here we go.
Hey, Julia, we know you've been in the industry for 75 years, so we all know professionally what you do. But let's talk about you personally. At the moment, there's something happening with your sinuses. Is that right?
Yes, I'm in the 7th week of a cold.
The 7th week. Now, the question has been thrown around, and I know the answer to this question, but
Tell me everything.
Julia, have you gone to the doctors?
I have not gone to the doctor.
And tell people why.
Because I'm a mother, so you are the last consideration. If it was my children, I would have had them to the doctor within the hour.
More importantly, she's a Morris.
That's it.
Morrises see going to the doctor as cheating.
It's cheating.
You're self-diagnosed, which we learnt with Nathan last
you're
week.
Self-diagnosed. And let your body sort it out yourselves, even if it takes a year longer.
Look, until it goes to pneumonia, I will until I'm coughing lung, I refuse to seek the help that I require.
Yeah, well, Nathan diagnosed himself with Legionnaire's disease last week. So be careful, okay? I'm not even joking. That actually happened.
I'm not joking. I was potting.
Well, stop licking the air conditioner for a start. Maybe.
We'll do anything for a day off here. Whatever it takes.
All right. We've got to let you go, Julia, but we love you, Lady Joan.
I'm voting for you.
Yeah, good on you, Julia.
Logies are on the 18th of August, so there's about a month to go. We can look forward to seeing you on television's Night of Nights. Thank you, Julia.
I love you guys.
Bye,
It's a pleasure. Cousin Julia Morris.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.